There was a time when America moved to the rhythm of a diesel engine, when families boarded the bus not just to travel, but to dream. From the polished chrome of the Scenicruiser to the quiet grace of the Eagle, these motor coaches carried more than passengers. They carried soldiers coming home, newlyweds heading west, and dreamers chasing tomorrow. Each one told a story of comfort, freedom, and pride in the open road. Today, we're looking back at the machines that define that spirit, the 10 most beloved American motor coaches of all time. So sit back, relax, and listen to the hum of the highway. Because somewhere between the rumble of a Detroit diesel and the sunset over Route 66, America was built. 1941 to 1948, GMPD 4751 Silversides. Before America had jetliners and interstates, it had this, the Greyhound Silversides. Built just before World War II, it was the first bus that made Americans believe the highway itself could be beautiful. Its name came from those gleaming aluminum ribs that caught the sunlight like fish scales, a perfect symbol of the streamlined modern age. Underneath that shimmering skin was Detroit's best, a 671 two-stroke diesel with about 190 horsepower, mated to a 4-speed Spicer manual. The body was semi-monocoque aluminum, lighter, tougher, and decades ahead of its time. Few had air conditioning back then, but the big roof vents kept the cabin surprisingly cool. Riders remember the high windows framing endless miles of Route 66 and US 40, the soft hum of the fan, and that unmistakable diesel whine climbing a long western grade. The leather seats, the chrome trim, even the smell of oil and ozone, it all felt like progress on wheels. More than 1,600 Silversides carried the nation through the war and into peacetime dreams. They stood at every Art Deco terminal, shining like hope under neon lights. That was the bus that taught America to dream of the open road. If you, or your dad, ever heard that 671 echo through the hills, tell us your story below. 1946 to 1950 Flxible Clipper. When the war ended, America hit the road, and the Flxible Clipper was ready to take them there. Hand-built in Loudonville, Ohio, this little coach captured the nation's restless optimism. It wasn't a Greyhound giant, but that was part of its charm. Sleek, rounded, and dressed in Art Deco curves, the Clipper looked like it was smiling as it rolled down Main Street. Its body was welded steel, topped with a domed roof and twin owl-eye headlights that gave it personality. Power came from a Hall Scott Straight 6, or Detroit Diesel 671, pushing about 190 horsepower. With 33 to 37 seats, soft suspension, and light weight, it floated over America's patched-up post-war highways. Maintenance was simple, just good, honest craftsmanship. Passengers remember the warmth inside, tall seats, wide views, the gentle hum of the fan, and the smell of worn leather mixed with diesel and diner coffee. Neon lights flickered across the windows as the Clipper pulled into a roadside cafe, a perfect snapshot of small-town America on the move. People called it the most graceful bus ever built. Even today, hundreds survive as RVS and parade icons, proof that beauty and simplicity never go out of style. If you've ever seen a real Flxible Clipper, you know why it still makes people smile. 1953 to 1960, GMPD4104. By the early 1950s, America was dreaming bigger. The highways were growing wider, the cars faster, and Greyhound wanted a bus that felt truly modern. General Motors answered with the PD4104, a sleek all-aluminum coach that redefined long-distance travel. It was so advanced for its day, people simply called it the first modern motor coach. The 4104's lightweight, corrosion-resistant body made it faster and more efficient than anything before. A Detroit Diesel 671 delivered about 190 horsepower through a 4-speed Spicer manual, and for the first time, air conditioning came standard. Pneumatic brakes and improved insulation made the ride quiet, smooth, and confident, a far cry from the rattling coaches of the 1940s. Step inside, and you'd feel it immediately. The soft whoosh of cool air, the clean scent of new leather, reading lamps glowing above reclining seats, and wide panoramic windows framing America's open road. It wasn't just transportation, it was affordable luxury on wheels. More than 5,000 were built, serving millions of passengers and racking up over 1 million miles apiece. The 4104 became the face of Greyhound's golden era, forever tied to the slogan, "Go Greyhound," and leave the driving to us. Who still remembers that first cool breeze when the 4104's door swung open? 1954 to 1956, GMPD4501 Scenicruiser. If one machine captured the spirit of 1950s America, it was the Greyhound Scenicruiser, the dream coach of a nation on the move. Built exclusively for Greyhound, just 1,001 of these rolling landmarks were ever made, but their impact was eternal. With its split-level Vista Dome design inspired by luxury trains and ocean liners, the Scenicruiser wasn't just transportation, it was a promise that the future had arrived. Stretching 40 feet long, it featured a low driver's cockpit and a raised passenger deck for panoramic views. Early models ran twin Detroit 471 diesels before switching to the more reliable 8V71. Inside, passengers found deep reclining seats, powerful air conditioning, a full restroom, and enough luggage space for a small army. For the mid-50s traveler, that was first-class comfort at bus fare prices. Riders described sitting up top as flying across the highway. The scenery rolled past like a Technicolor movie, wide plains, neon motels, and the endless promise of Route 66. Though maintenance was tricky, the Scenicruiser became the face of Greyhound's golden era. It appeared in movies, postcards, and every American child's imagination. Every kid in the 50s wanted to ride one once. Did you ever sit in that front row Vista seat? Tell us what it felt like. 1961 to 1965, GMPD4106. By the early 60s, America was cruising into a new decade of style and speed, and General Motors wanted a motor coach to match. Building on the success of the 4104, the new PD4106 was stronger, faster, and smoother in every way. To drivers and passengers alike, it was the sweet spot of the entire GM coach line, the perfect balance between power, comfort, and reliability. At its heart was a Detroit diesel 8V71, an 8-cylinder powerhouse delivering around 318 horsepower, nearly twice the muscle of its predecessor. The body was an all-aluminum monocoque shell, sturdy yet light, paired with second-generation Carrier air conditioning, improved insulation, and quieter interiors. The deep reclining seats, wide windows, and soft ride made every journey feel effortless. Drivers loved how the 4106 handled, steady on curves, confident on the open road, and easy on the clutch. Passengers loved how it felt, cool, calm, and surprisingly quiet. Many still call it the smoothest coach Greyhound ever had. From family vacations to soldiers returning home, the 4106 carried millions of memories across America's growing highway system. Thousands still survive today, lovingly restored by collectors and RV enthusiasts, a true classic that's just right in every way. If you still remember that soft 8V71 growl climbing a long hill, drop a icon below. 1968 to 1973, MCIMC7 Challenger. By the late 1960s, Greyhound was changing course. General Motors had stepped away from building highway coaches, and a Canadian company, Motorcoach Industries, stepped in to take the wheel. Their answer was the MC7 Challenger, the first MCI to carry Greyhound's famous running dog logo nationwide. It marked the beginning of a new era, one that would make MCI the dominant name on America's highways for decades to come. At 40 feet long and 96 inches wide, the MC7 packed a Detroit diesel 8V71 delivering about 318 horsepower, paired with a 4-speed Spicer manual transmission. A Thermo King air conditioning system kept things cool, while the big panoramic windows gave riders a perfect view of the world outside. Its air suspension smoothed out even the roughest pavement, and the huge underfloor baggage bays could swallow an army's worth of luggage. Drivers loved the MC7's stability. It tracked straight, handled tight, and never felt nervous, even in crosswinds. Passengers loved the quiet confidence of the ride, the rhythmic hum of the diesel, and the glow of highway lights slipping by at midnight. It was the standard Greyhound silhouette of the early 70s, a familiar friend at every rest stop and depot. Who remembers the smell of diesel mixing with coffee at a late-night truck stop while an MC7 idled outside? 1968 to 1976, Eagle Model 05. In the late 1960s, when Greyhound ruled the highways with its MCI fleet, Continental Trailways decided to go in a different direction, toward luxury. Their answer was the Eagle Model 05, a coach that blended European refinement with American power. Partly assembled in Germany, then finished by hand in Brownsville, Texas, the Eagle wasn't just built, it was crafted. Its monocoque body rode on a unique torsiolastic suspension, giving the smoothest, quietest ride of its era. Power came from the Detroit diesel 8V71, or later the stronger 8V92, purring deep in the rear. Inside, the Eagle was a world apart. Wood veneer trim, reading lights, full curtains, and soft ambient lighting that gave it a warm, first-class feel. Chrome accents gleamed under the sun, and the rounded corners gave the body a graceful, continental look. Every coach was built almost by hand, no two quite the same. Passengers said it felt like flying first class, while drivers called it luxury with personality. The steering was smooth, the ride almost float-like, more glide than drive. To this day, the Model 05 stands as the symbol of Trailway's golden age. Many survive, converted into entertainer coaches or lovingly restored by collectors. So tell us, back in the day, were you Team Greyhound or Team Trailways? 1978 to 1990's MCIMC9 Crusader 2. By the late 1970s, the American highway had a new king, the MCIMC9 Crusader 2. Nicknamed the People's Coach, it became the most recognizable silhouette on the interstates through the 1980s. Nearly 7,000 units rolled out, serving everyone from Greyhound and Trailways to independent carriers, schools, and church groups. If you traveled by bus during that era, chances are it was an MC9 that took you there. It was built tough. Detroit diesel 8, V71 or 8V92 power plants, paired with either an Allison automatic or Spicer manual transmission. The air ride suspension made for a smooth journey, while the reinforced steel frame and enormous luggage bays made it ideal for long-haul routes. The interior was simple, durable, and easy to service. A workhorse through and through. Passengers remember the steady hum of the 8V92 echoing across Interstate 40, I-80, and I-10, the dim glow of reading lights, and the quiet rhythm of a night ride across the plains. Drivers called it bulletproof, a coach that would always get you home, even if it wasn't pretty doing it. Many MC9s logged over 2 or 3 million miles before retirement, earning a place among America's most durable machines. So, have you ever ridden one? Where did your MC9 take you? 1980 to 1987 Eagle Model 10. By the dawn of the 1980s, the American coach industry was changing fast. Factories were getting louder, assembly lines longer, and craftsmanship was fading into memory. But the Eagle Model 10 stood apart. Known proudly as the last hand-built coach, it was the final salute to the golden age of trailways luxury, a bridge between elegance and modern efficiency. The Model 10 kept the heart of its predecessors, a monocoque body and torsiolastic suspension that made it ride like silk. Power came from the Detroit Diesel 8V92, paired with the bulletproof Allison HT 740 automatic. Inside, it was pure refinement. Thick drapes, warm amber lighting, deep reclining seats, and walls lined with rich veneers. It didn't just move people, it made them feel something. Its squared, commanding profile gave it a quiet confidence, part European grace, part American strength. On a moonlit interstate, you could spot that chrome eagle emblem glinting in the dark, the hum of the 8V92 purring softly like a lullaby. To the Trailways faithful, the Model 10 wasn't just another coach. It was the last one with a soul. Do you still remember that warm golden glow inside the cabin on a long night run? 1992 to 2001, MCI 102DL3. As America rolled into the 1990s, the highways needed a new standard, bigger, faster, and more refined than ever before. Enter the MCY 102DL3, a 45-foot, 102-inch wide flagship that became the face of Greyhound's rebirth. It was sleek, tall, and unmistakably modern, the first long-distance coach of the post-classic era that still carried the spirit of the open road. Under its skin roared the Detroit Diesel Series 60, a 12.7-liter inline six delivering around 430 horsepower, paired with an Allison B500 automatic transmission. Air ride suspension with electronic leveling kept the ride smooth, while massive luggage bays and deep recline seating made it perfect for coast-to-coast runs. Passengers enjoyed icy cold air conditioning, ABS braking safety, and the kind of quiet that once only came with an airplane ticket. For those who rode it, the 102DL3 felt effortless, like flying on the highway. It was faster, cleaner, and more comfortable than any coach before it. Greyhound's silver and blue stripes once again ruled the interstates, reconnecting a country that had begun to drift apart. Many of these giants still roll today with smaller carriers or tour fleets, a living reminder of when the open road met modern comfort. 90s kids, which Greyhound took you home for the last time? Every one of these motor coaches carried a piece of America's soul. They weren't just vehicles, they were time machines, chrome memories rolling down 1,000 highways. For millions, they meant homecomings, new beginnings, and goodbyes at dawn. Even as the years fade, their stories don't. The Scenicruiser's proud silhouette, the eagle's polished wings, the deep, steady heartbeat of an old 8V71 echoing through the night. If you ever rode one, you know, the journey was more than the miles. So tell us, which motor coach carried your memories? Like, share, and subscribe, because here, we keep those stories alive. And remember, the road may change, but the spirit of the open highway never dies.